The world is full of urban legends, remarkable stories that spread like viruses around the planet, mutating and evolving until no one can remember which ones are true and which ones are urban legends. In this episode called Missing Pieces, you'll see 3 puzzling tales where everything falls into place at the last minute. First, a British barmaid faces a life or death decision after a stranger rewards her kindness with a terrifying tip. Then, a young couple enjoys their fairy tale romance, oblivious to a horrible secret that will soon tear their lives apart. And finally, a mysterious murder stuns a small town, but stranger still is who stands accused of the crime. Watch all 3 stories and decide which urban legends are true and which ones are false. Find out if you guessed right at the end of the show. First, it's a story we like to call One Good Turn. Carol Richardson's life is about as British as it can get, right down to teenage years, which were spent pulling pints at a London pub.
I made lots of tips and I really got along with my co-workers.
But she had no idea how much this job would change her life.
It was just crazy. After that, everything just went chaotic.
It was September 23rd, 1987, and Carol was rushing to get to work.
I saw a gentleman waiting to cross the road. And just as he set off to cross, he slipped off the edge of the curb and fell into the road. As I'm walking towards him, I noticed a car coming the other way. And I noticed that the car doesn't appear to have seen him.
Without thinking, Carol jumps into the road.
I got into the side of the road and he still couldn't get any weight on it. So I said, you know, I'm going to have to call an ambulance for you. And he said, no, like, you know, he was really insistent.
After making sure the man is all right, Carol decides she must get to work.
Let's go to work now.
As I was about to leave him, he looked at me and said to me, don't go to work tonight.
Why would the stranger know where she works? She tries to get more answers,
Why?
but he only repeats his warning.
He said, if you know what's good for you, don't go to work tonight, call in sick. And so I just sort of walked away and thought, crazy man.
Take care.
After getting an earful for being late, Carol gets down to work. But she can't stop replaying the strange encounter.
It was playing on my mind a lot.
Then Carol remembers she had seen the man before.
It was the guy that had been in the pub for the last few nights.
Why had he told her to stay away?
And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to mention it to the boss. He sort of looked at me as if I was crazy and said, don't be stupid, get on with your shift.
But Carol cannot forget the man. Her mind starts to race with possible explanations for his strange warning.
Maybe there's going to be a fight there, you know, you get these gangs and things like that. Maybe he'd been coming in to sort of, you know, check the place out.
Is Carol letting the words of a crazy man drive her insane? Could the man be planning a brawl, a robbery, or something worse? Carol approaches her boss again. Now he's angry. He gives her an ultimatum: either get back to work or get out.
I still couldn't get this out of my mind. I just felt really uneasy.
What did the man mean? With evening fast approaching, she decides she's not going to stick around to find out.
So I went to the police station, and when I told them what had happened, they looked at me as if, you know, why are you wasting our time? But they had appeared to look into what I was telling them. They decided that they would show me some mugshot books.
As Carol leaves through the book, she wonders if she's made the right decision. Maybe that man she saved was just a drunk. Maybe he's in the pub right now.
I weren't expecting to see this guy at all. I just thought, you know, they just wanted to get me out of there.
But when Carol sees the next page, all her doubts vanish.
There was no doubt in my mind that that was the guy. There's no way that I wouldn't recognize this man. When I pointed him out, everything went crazy in the place. Telephones were going, people running around, picking up all their equipment, running out of the building.
She learns the terrible truth. The man she saved was an IRA terrorist. Police race to the pub.
All we could hear was sirens, you know, leaving the building, heading off down the streets. It was just absolute chaos.
But they're too late. 7 people die in the blast, and over a dozen more are injured.
So I had a hard time afterwards, you know. If I hadn't helped this guy, he wouldn't have been around to bomb the pub.
A cold-blooded terrorist gives a life-saving tip after a woman saves him from almost certain death. But did it happen? Find out the truth about all 3 stories after the break. Mini-myth number 837, the chameleon. For 3 years, a San Antonio, Texas family searched in vain for their missing 13-year-old son. They'd almost given up hope when they got a surprise call saying the boy had been found overseas. The child was flown home and lived with the family for 3 full months before they realized something was terribly amiss. This wasn't their son. It was a 23-year-old serial impostor from France. Was it true or false? It was true. The impostor, Frederick Bourdin, would attempt to pull similar stunts on 3 more occasions. On Urban Legends, we show you 3 incredible stories. You have to decide which ones really happened and which ones are merely legends. So far, you've seen the story of the woman who gets a tip-off from a terrorist after saving his life. But is it real or fake? We'll let you know at the end of the show. Now it's time for our next story. It's called The Ties That Blind. Moira and James O'Reilly seem like any couple, madly in love.
Never felt that way before about anybody.
But when people hear the full story of their romance, the reaction is anything but delight.
It was complete shock, disbelief. Didn't want to believe it.
It's one of the strangest love stories ever told, ending in a shock that would change this couple forever.
It was really hard to kind of cope with.
James and Moira's romance started typically enough. It was 2003, and James was a small-town boy on a rare visit to Dublin.
One of my friends was talking to Maura's friends, so I went over, got talking to Maura.
We had a few drinks, and we got on really well, and we exchanged numbers. From there, it just kind of took off, really.
In no time, James and Moira are madly in love. It feels like they've known each other their entire lives.
It's really strange because I never got that before with anybody.
But this fairy tale romance is about to take a bizarre turn. A few months into their relationship, Moira takes James to meet the family. It appears to go well, but the meeting has opened up a hidden wound.
I didn't have a dad. It was kind of upset that Maura got on so well with her dad.
James's father ran off when he was young, and James had a falling out with his mother.
Every time he brought up the subject, he changed it, so I didn't really know.
Thankfully, this sore spot is soon overshadowed by a happy surprise.
I was having a baby. It was my first, so I was over the moon. I was delighted.
Surely the newborn baby will finally bring James' mom out of hiding.
I thought she would have shown a bit of interest, but no, she didn't.
Moira throws a Christmas party to try to bring the 2 families together, but James's mother doesn't show.
I didn't know what to think. We'd had a child together and I still hadn't met her.
James knows how much the situation is bothering Moira. He decides he and his mother must settle their differences.
James.
I didn't want to bring Maura because so much time had passed and I just wanted to see first, you know, what the reaction and all that was going to be.
To his surprise, his mom is delighted to see him.
We're actually talking again, and it's been so long, like, you know, maybe the this was the time things was going to change, maybe for the better, like, you know.
James tells his mom all about his new love.
I just described her and stuff like that and how we got on well, like. And then she asked about Maura's dad.
But when James tells her more about Moira's father, his mother suddenly snaps.
She put her hands over her face. And she says, "You're not serious." I had been thinking at that stage, maybe she'd been drinking.
She locks herself in the bathroom. James tries to figure out why.
It just seemed forever, and I just didn't want to leave.
Mom, what are you doing?
But his mom won't tell him what's wrong.
And she just says, "You want to stay away from her."
When James gets home, he tells Moira all about the bizarre encounter.
She freaked out and...
What could it mean?
Locked herself in the bathroom.
Is his mother jealous of her son's new love?
Just the expression in her face. I didn't know what was happening.
Moira wants him to forget about it, but he can't. He calls his mom.
She was very calm on the phone. And she just says, "I really need to tell you something." I says, like, is this going to be a repeat now of, like, what happened in the house?
It's not going to be a repeat of what happened at the house, right?
She says, like, "Will you listen to me?"
But James can't believe the next words his mother says.
He was still on the phone to his mother, so I didn't really know what was going on. But after he got off the phone with her, then he told me what she had said.
James's mother has just told him that Moira, the woman of his dreams, the mother of his child, is actually his sister.
She says that you're my sister.
He said, "No, that can't be true. She has to be lying, unless she has to be making it up."
She's obviously lost her mind.
Here she goes again. You know, really hoping that that was going to be the case, that she was just looking to start trouble.
That's impossible. James and I have something we want.
They try to get on with their lives, but the bizarre claim haunts them.
We couldn't be brother and sister. Couldn't be, like. Didn't want to believe it.
But there's only one way to put the claim to rest. An awkward conversation with Moira's dad.
My mom is saying that you're my dad. Like, how would you bring that up? That's really impossible.
Finally, Moira gets up the courage.
Maura told him about me, like what happened with my mom.
She seems to think it's true, and
My dad was in complete shock, and his face was all distorted. Didn't want to believe it.
But when James tells him the full name of his mother, her father can no longer deny the truth.
he is my brother.
The reaction on his face really like said it all.
He tells him that when he was younger, he had a child with James's mother. She kept the baby boy, and the courts ruled he was not allowed to ever speak to the child. That child is James.
Yeah, he confirmed, yeah, that was true.
Maura is my sister, and her dad is my dad.
Two people meet and feel like they have known each other for their entire lives. And in a way, they had. Because they were actually brother and sister. But did it really happen? You'll have to wait to the end of the show to find out. Mini-myth number 557, the ski accident. On a family ski trip in the Alps, Rachel Bedwin ended up with a wee problem on top of a big run. Worried the bumps would burst her bladder, she crouched by a tree for a pee, but slipped and slid downhill bare bum first. Luckily, she was not seriously hurt, but the same cannot be said of her brother Roger, who fell out of a chairlift laughing at what he had witnessed. Was it true or false? It was false. Although countless versions of this story continue to circulate, in not one case is it the naked truth. On Urban Legends, we show you 3 incredible stories. You must decide which ones are rock-solid truth and which are shaky lies. So far, you've seen the story of a grateful terrorist who gives a heroic stranger a life-saving tip. And the story of the fairy tale romance that ends with the wrong kind of brotherly love. But which of these stories are the real thing? all will be revealed at the end of the show. Now it's time for our final story. It's called Cold-Blooded Killer. Susan King used to think that there was no place safer than her hometown of Manistee, Michigan.
You always hear about these things. You hear about it happening to other people.
But then she witnessed something so extraordinary, even the police doubted her story.
I knew what I was up against. I didn't expect it to be as bad as it was.
And by the time all was said and done, neither her nor her hometown would ever be the same. Her terrifying tale started on a normal enough afternoon in 2003 when Susan set out to meet her sister.
I was about to get out of my car, and when I saw her front door open, and out came Dr. Fields.
A visit from her family doctor is rarely good news.
The only thing I could think of was maybe something was really wrong with my sister.
But when she gets inside, it's far worse than anything she could have imagined.
She was just lying on the floor. My sister was dead.
Within minutes, police are on the scene. They interview Susan, but she has questions of her own. What was Dr. Fields doing there?
He had to have seen her. He couldn't have just gone in there and not seen her. Why was Dr. Fields not screaming, yelling, doing something? He seemed so calm.
But police are skeptical of Susan's story.
I really didn't see how that was possible. Dr. Fields was a well-respected professional.
The case becomes more complicated when Dr. Fields is questioned.
Dr. Fields denied being at the crime scene.
Someone's lying. Fortunately, there's an easy way to figure out who.
We did recover a DNA sample at the murder scene. So we felt as though we had enough to bring Dr. Fields in to request a DNA sample, and he was very agreeable to having the DNA sample taken.
The tests confirm what detectives suspected all along.
The results from this DNA test were negative. They did not match the DNA from the crime scene.
Fields is telling the truth. He was never there. The police dropped the case.
With the DNA results, Susan King's account did become suspect.
So what happened? Did the trauma of her sister's death cloud Susan's memory? Did she have a secret grudge against Dr. Fields? Or was she just making it up?
Officer, let's go. We'll be in contact.
But Susan remains convinced of what she saw. She makes a risky decision.
I knew I had to, I don't know, up the ante, do something big, try something else. That's when I decided to take matters into my own hands and hire a private investigator.
The PI shadows Dr. Fields for a month.
He was able to do quite a bit. He was able to get saliva samples. It was amazing what he found.
A private lab tests the DNA and gives those results to the police. No one can believe it. The DNA obtained from the doctor matches the DNA from the murder scene. Could the lab have made a mistake?
That was certainly enough for me to go back and bring him in to have some more testing completed.
Out of respect for the doctor, they suggest that this second test will be the least invasive kind, a pinprick on the finger.
The technician went to prick his finger, and he indicated he had a disease that didn't allow that to happen and offered his arm. And I certainly didn't understand the medical condition, so I didn't question it at the time.
But when they draw blood from his arm, the blood doesn't look right.
There could have been an issue with the actual cleanliness of the needle, or something could have happened in the transfer of the sample.
Another sample is needed, but Dr. Fields no longer wants to cooperate. That's when they make an incredible discovery.
I was shocked.
It's the most cunning criminal trick the police have ever seen.
I couldn't believe that was possible.
He'd created a fake vein.
He had surgically inserted a tube into his arm where they would normally take a blood sample.
No wonder the sample taken right after the crime didn't match. It wasn't Dr. Fields' blood at all.
I figured, you know, yeah, he probably had someone helping him, but I didn't even think that kind of stuff existed.
But Fields never thought he'd have to do the test a second time, more than a month later. By then, the stolen blood had noticeably degraded. Susan is finally vindicated, and the doctor confesses to an affair with her sister, which ended in homicide. He's convicted of second-degree murder.
I couldn't believe it. This was my doctor. Like, it was incredible.
A doctor fools a DNA test and almost gets away with murder with the help of stolen blood and a surgically implanted vein. But did it happen? It's time to reveal the truth about our three incredible stories. First up, it's the tale of the terrorist who saved a woman's life after she jumped in front of a car to save his. But is it fact or fiction?
Although some pubs in England did get bombed, this particular story is not true. I am not Carol Richardson.
This story has been around for decades and is pure wishful thinking. Terrorists wouldn't be terrorists if they tipped off the public before they struck. Then, it's the tale of the couple that falls madly in love without realizing they are actually brother and sister. But is it fact or fiction?
I'm Maura.
I'm James.
And this is a true story.
The two are still together. They hope to have more children and get married in Sweden, the only country where it is legal to marry your sibling. Finally, it's the tale of a duplicitous doctor that nearly got away with murder by implanting a fake vein. But is it fact or fiction?
This is a horrible crime that this man almost got away with. But it didn't happen to me. It's a fake story.
A similar crime did happen several decades ago, but modern DNA tests are not so easily fooled. That's the end of our episode called Missing Pieces. Were you able to piece together the truth, or did you get lost in a jumble of lies? Don't worry if you couldn't. You'll get another chance to separate fact from fiction in the next installment of